Japan's had a lot of fairly negative press over recent weeks, and of course, it's like any of the other countries around the world. Everyone's being impacted by this economic downturn, but Japan seems to have had a greater share of the headlines. And in my presentation today, I'd like to just give you some background information as to some of the sort of the economic data that seem to be floated around. I'll also talk about the general business and cultural landscape, some key drivers and opportunities in the market. I'll touch on some working women and what's changing with them in Japan, and talk about some strategies for success as well. Before I launch into it, can I just ask, is anyone actually exporting to Japan amongst us today? No. Well, I hope by the end of the talk that you will at least consider it. It's it's a very big market. It's a very challenging market in many ways, but it's also a very rewarding market. So it's the second largest economy after the USA, with a population of 128 million. It has a very large, very sophisticated and wealthy consumer base. And Australia's trade to Japan is approximately 35 billion. I mean, I didn't take into account the exchange rate at the moment, but I must say, with the dollar being so low against the yen, our products and services have never been more competitive in the last 5 years, really. So in many ways, it's a great time for Australian products and services in the Japanese market. And despite media headlines, Japan's got some fundamental strengths that won't go away. It's got world-beating brand name industries, a lot of those large corporations that you know, well-educated workforce, very strong R&D base, and a domestic market that's bigger and a consumer base far wealthier than most other countries in the world. Now, in some of the headlines you've seen some of the large names, Toyota and these Sony, and these are the companies that are being directly affected at the moment by the economic downturn, and that's because they're the ones that are exporting, and it's the companies that are exporting from Japan that are feeling the pain most at the moment. Other companies that are focused domestically, don't seem to be having the same extent of problems. Japan's a real landscape of contradictions. At the moment, we've got what you'd have to describe as political stagnation. We've got the third Prime Minister in less than 3 years, and he doesn't look particularly stable. So who knows, we might get another one. Minimal economic growth, and the last quarter that was recorded, October to December, actually showed a dip in growth. But a high rate of savings per capita. Japanese have always been very good savers, and some people literally keep the money under the mattress still. They're very good about saving for that rainy day, and hence there's a lot of depth to the market. Looking at an ageing population, by 2020, 25% of the population will be over 60. But this is a population that has got great longevity. The Japanese older people are generally very healthy, and they, once they finish work, they like to reward themselves for all the hard work they've put in over the years, and they go off travelling and they do things, and they spend, they have got a lot of disposable income to spend on whatever they like to do. There are more women in the workforce in Japan than ever before. Divorce rate is up and marriage rate is down, which is not a great social phenomenon by any means. But what this means is that women who haven't perhaps had the opportunity, because it wasn't up until fairly recently, not so unlike Australia, once women married, they had to quit the workforce and they really didn't get a chance to come back at their skill level. But now Japan really needs these women to come back into the workforce, and really needs their entrepreneurial skill, really needs all the education they've had. And so what we're seeing is more opportunity for women in the workforce. The only thing that's hindering them there is the lack of childcare facilities, and I'll mention that later on. And as I said, Japan's our largest export destination.